Hi everyone. In today's session, let us try to understand the relation between astrology and Vastu. We'll not only be understanding that, but we'll also be diving into understanding what are the best zones associated to the astrological rashis that we have, and what are the astrological houses and what its impact is on and as per the birth charts when generated. So we'll be taking it step by step to understand all of this in detail. So when you want to incorporate your space, not only being it Vastu compliant, but also aligned with your astrological charts, you'll be able to get a basic idea of all of this. All right. So saying that, let us get started. Firstly, let me try to help you understand what Vastu Shastra is. Vastu Shastra is basically an Indian knowledge or Indian based knowledge which is used to study how to go about planning and zoning spaces, making those spaces energy efficient and harmonized in a positive manner. Okay, and when you understand astrology in detail, astrology is basically the study of different planetary positions at the time of birth, especially when taken from your birth details, and to see which is the best course of action that you can take, especially while designing your spaces as per Vastu. So this is how Vastu and astrology can be associated with each other. Now that you've got a basic understanding of this, let me try to help you understand a little more details in terms of astrology before we jump into understanding its relation with Vastu. So two major aspects that I would like to discuss over here, one being your 12 zodiac signs and the other one being your 12 zodiac houses. Okay, so when you understand the 12 zodiac houses, this basically means when you either have a South Indian Kundli or a North Indian Kundli. This is basically in terms of Indian context, but if you see astrology on a general note worldwide, we have a Western type of analysis and an Indian type of analysis. But yeah, coming into the details of it, when we understand it, there are 12 zodiac signs or houses that we have, and each of these zodiac signs have their own interpretation or attributes associated to it. So that, before we jump into it, let me give you a detail of what these are. So firstly, let us talk about the first house as per the houses that we have in the chart. The first one being house of self. The house of self completely deals with the self-expression, self-identity. It basically deals with the self. Anything that has to be with oneness or oneself is something that deals with the first house. The second house deals with the house of wealth. House of wealth basically builds the amount of money you accumulate. Either you get it through gains. All of those bits are covered over here. Your luxury, all those bits. And your third house basically deals with house of communication. So major impact over here that you see is the speech, the way you communicate the speech, whether it's good, the kind of knowledge you'll be able to gain around it, if you'll be able to make a living, like actually build a career, all of those related to speech will be getting over here. Along with that, you also will be looking into your siblings bit or aspecting over here in the third house as well. The fourth house comes with house of house or house of home. This deals with the relationship within the people of the house, your actual house environment, your childhood background. All of this on a general note is looked from here. Your fifth house deals with creativity, and in general creativity can be just the way you express yourself in terms of the work you have, the amount of creativeness you will be able to exhibit in your lifetime, or the kind of expression of romance that you can see. All of those comes with the house number 5. Okay, then comes house number 6. House number 6 basically deals with health. Anything in health, be it wellness, be it sufferings because of health, or generally we also look at enemies to a bit. That is, if you're able to destroy your enemies in a bit, sixth house kind of gives you that possibility. And next comes the house 7, that is the house of relationships. And when I mean relationships, it may be relationships of actual partnerships or between people in marriage, or it can be relationships in businesses, it can be commitments, whatever it is, the entire relationship bit is dealt from here. Next comes the house 8, that is house of transformations. House of transformations here basically means, and I say it with caution here because this is the most crucial, one of the most crucial houses that we have, and a very sensitive house that we have as per astrology, because here we deal about death, we deal about all the sufferings. Sometimes we also talk about in-laws because of a certain placements over here, or relationship with in-laws, rebirth issues, all of these are basically in the 8th house. The 9th house, I would like to term this as either house of philosophy or house of luck. So if you want to see how your luck factor is, how your destiny is, how your philosophy to life is, your spirituality, your long distance travels, all of them are governed by the ninth house. The 10th house is basically career house or house of career. House of career basically means your profession, what is the stream that you'll be choosing, how will you approach it, your victory or your actual reputation as per it, all of those will be dealt with that. Next comes the house 11. House 11 basically is your friendships. So basically your friendships, your relationship with friends, your social circles, your networking, all of that comes over here. After that, you have your 12th house. Your 12th house basically deals with karma. So anything that deals with either discussing whether it's your last life or not as per astrology, or if you're having any karma factors that you have to clear out, debts or sufferings. And one major bit is foreign settlement also is looked from this bit. So this is something that you can understand in the 12 houses that are there as per Vastu. As per astrology. Now that you've understood the actual houses that we have, let us come to understand the 12 Rashis that are there, or the zodiac signs that we consider. Now see, there are 12 zodiac signs irrespective if you take it from an Indian context or a foreign context, but the dates might vary based on the consideration. So I'm taking this again. Please make sure you have enough knowledge on which school of thought you're following even in astrology to see how you want to incorporate it and go about designing your spaces, making it both Vastu and astrology compliant. But coming back into understanding what are the 12 Rashis that we have, the first one starts from the Aries Rashi and it basically ends at the Meena Rashi. And the reason why I say Meena Rashi is because Meena Rashi is the 12th house that we have, and there are multiple segments that are covered around it. So we'll go one by one to understand it. But to give you a basic run through, we have Aries, also known as the Mesha Rashi. And then we have the Taurus, which is known as the Vrishabha Rashi. Then we have Gemini, which is known as the Mithuna Rashi. Then we have Cancer, which is known as the Karka Rashi. Then we have Leo, that is the Simha Rashi. After Leo, it's the Virgo, also known as the Kanya Rashi. And then we have Libra, that is the Thula. And then we have Scorpio, which is the Vrishchika Rashi. Then we have Dhanu, which is the Sagittarius. And then we have Makara Rashi, which is Capricorn. Then we have Kumbha Rashi, which is Aquarius. And finally, we have the Pisces, that is the Meena Rashi. Now, all of these Rashis are divided into 4 elements of nature. That is your fire zones or your fire signs, your air signs, your water signs, and your earth signs. Okay. So this is just a quick run through. You're able to see on the screen on the right which are which. So I'm not going to dive too much into that bit. But this is basically the logical understanding of the Rashis and their associated element as per the Pancha Mahabhutas that we have. Okay. Now that you've been able to understand this, let us try to understand how to read charts and how to read charts specifically based on your South Indian and North Indian context. So when we understand your South Indian context, the first thing that we have is when you place the 12 houses, we place it around the grid where your first house starts from Mesha and the 12th house ends at Meena, like you know how the 12 houses and the Rashis are. And each of their correspondence is also seen so below it as well, so you can see how they're placed. This is a South Indian Kundli reading assessment. I'm just giving you the basics. If you want to learn more, you can actually look into other videos to understand how these are read based on each of your birth charts. Again, not getting into that. And the right side being your North Indian Kundli generation, where basically you have placements of the 12 zones in a diagonal manner. And each of them also have the same attributes associated to it. But how they are placed in red is a little different in the North Indian style. So now that you've been able to understand this bit and you're able to understand how exactly astrological influences are there, let us try to understand individually the different astrological signs and their relationship with Vastu. So starting off with the first zodiac sign that we have, that is your Aries or your Mesha Rashi. Now Mesha Rashi is basically dealt with the planet Mars, and this is basically predominantly going to be a fire element because, like you know, Mars is a very aggressive planet, is a planet that is red. So keeping these two attributes in mind, the nearest thing that you can relate to is the fire. So fire element it becomes. And when you look into Vastu, the zones that are governed by the fire is basically your southeast and your south zones. So these are the Vastu zones best preferred by this particular zodiac sign. And the colors that you can also use are very related to the colors of the flame of fire. So you have reds, maroons, light pinks, orange, dark yellows. All of these can be used in this particular zone. Apart from that, one thing you have to know is when you're talking about southeast and east, I mean southeast and south zone, the southeast is dealing with your luxuries, your femininity, your the female of the house, money flow, all of that. And your south deals with your fame, reputation, and all of that. So if you want to increase attributes of this, what I would suggest is either if you feel that there has not been so much of improvement in your financial status, what you can do is you can try to keep a red bulb in your southeast zone of your space to see if you want to increase the money flow, or if you've seen any problems in your feminine people or the female in your house, you can keep it to increase the wellness of them. All that you can do. So a red bulb in the southeast zone has to be kept, one way. Second thing is if you're looking for fame, reputation, those bits, this is what you can do on a general note. They use it as a remedy as well. So as a remedy, what you can do is when you have especially want to become famous in a political circle or entertainment industry, or if you want to go even into digital platforms and you want to become famous, one thing that you can do is in your south zone, keep a red photo frame with your picture in it, but make sure the other elements in the zone are neutralized and there's no dosha as per Vastu. Okay, otherwise it'll counteract. But like I said, you can keep your picture in a red photo frame and hang it on the south wall of your house in the south zone, and you will be able to see and reap benefits of the same. If you're unable to do this either because of restrictions or anything like that, because of the actual structural entities in your space, what you can do is you can try to either keep red decorative items that are either staging, styling, whatever ways. Even simple curtains in red can be placed in these zones to reap the benefits. Apart from that, if you have a main door or entrance either in the southeast or south zone of your house, try having or painting the main door, entrance door in red color or the colors of fire. Or even if that is not possible, if you have a welcome door and you want to keep a mat there, try to keep that welcome mat at least in the red color. So it can also help in reaping the benefits. But one caution has to be taken is that do not use anti-colors or anti-elements into this space. Basically, we know that fire zone is basically having red and all that, right? So fire and water are anti-elements. So any water elements like your fountains, swimming pools, all that, avoid in these zones. Along with that, colors associated to water being blue, shades of blue, gray, black, whatever it is, avoid that in the fire zones or the southeast and the south zones. So you will be able to reap the benefits. But one thing again with the precaution tip is that make sure you use red or colors of fire in a minimal sense, because fire is something that anything in excess is going to be too devastating or dangerous or hazardous, right? Minimum requirement, how much you need, is most important. So when you're trying to incorporate these into your space, make sure you at least go small steps. Don't. So just to give you an example, if you want to renovate or if you want to have a small remedy, okay, first start off by placing a red bulb. If you don't see any changes in that, then probably try to paint one of the walls red. Again, keep on increasing slow by slow after you see a couple of changes. But drastically, if you add all of this into one space at once, then you will have to face repercussions. So preferably go step by step while only for this particular zone when you're going about doing it. Next, let us try to understand the Taurus or the Vrishabha Rashi, and the ruling planet over here is Venus. So there are two ways of how I take this. One, either we'll understand it with the element that is associated, and second, we'll understand with the planet it's associated. Like I said, Venus, its association with the Vastu zone is in the southeast. So best place for the Taurus, one of them is the southeast. Apart from that, when you understand this particular zone is an earth element as per the Rashi element that we understood, this is an earth element. As this is an earth element, the zones that is related to the earth element is in the southeast, is in the south to southwest. Okay, so once you understand this, so we have understood two zones. One is the southeast and one is the southwest. In the southeast, try to use colors that are not too fire dominant but are still applicable to fire. So you can try to use colors like light pink, very light pink that is, or light yellow or light red. All of these colors or shades of them you can try to use in the southeast zone if you want to balance out this particular Rashi's elements. Or if you're directly going to deal it with the elemental property in the southwest, you can try to use, earth elements itself. Like you can try to incorporate stone or soil related elements in the southwest zone, or you can try to incorporate it colors like yellow, golden, in those colors into the space. So all of these are just some things that you can actually incorporate. And one more thing that I would recommend is, in case if you do want to, or if you have an entrance in the southeast and you want to balance out this particular space, in the entrance you can try to add in luxury plants, or something that feels very beautiful. Those kind of plants like bougainvilleas in the entrance of your door, in the colors of the colors associated to fire or anything, and then you can try to reap the benefits as well. So these simple remedies can also be done. But yeah. Next is the Gemini, also known as the Mithuna Rashi. Mithuna Rashi basically deals with the air element. And when you understand air element, one of the zones that it deals with, as per one of the schools of thought in Vastu, is the West zone. So when you talk about West zone, the planet associated with it is Mercury. So some of the colors that are best suitable over here are whites, blues, and all of those you can actually use. Even yellow to a certain extent you can use. But one thing that I would probably ask you guys to avoid is any fire related element in the West zone. Avoid those colors or elements in that space completely. Okay. And apart from that, one more thing you can do is, since West, if you guys understand in detail, the West zone is associated or dealt with Lord Shani sometimes. It's like the zone. So since it's dealt with Shani, what I would suggest is try to keep your bamboo plants specifically in the West zone if you feel there's a Vastu dosha. If not that, you can try to have aloe vera or snake plant or any indoor plants in this particular zone. But best I would suggest is any type of bamboo plants here would be best for your Vastu dosha. Apart from that, if you have your office room or your study room in this particular zone, this can actually help in giving you better communication, intelligent and ideas, and better expansion for networking as well. And this also helps in bringing you a lot of clarity and thought. So you can use West over here. But again, if you do use this as per this particular zodiac sign, make sure there's no washroom in this particular zone. If there is, you'll have to do a remedy for the same. Next is your Cancer or your Karka Rashi. Now this is a water element, and basically this deals with your planet Moon. Now when you understand it in terms of planet and you understand it with the element as well, the nearest zone that has both these elements is in the northwest zone of your space. And while we talk about northwest, we talk about your mother, we talk about intuition, we talk about emotional quotients, we talk about all of these bits. So having this said, and since it's a water zone, your water elements like fountains, aquariums, all of this can be kept in the northwest zone. Along with that, you can try to keep a wind chime as well over here, because when we talk about communication aspects, especially when we come to the northwest zone, your emotional quotient and communication of your emotional quotient plays a very important part in this zone. So if you feel that there is no proper communication within the family members, or there's an emotional disbalance amongst the family members in the space, having a wind chime over here as per a Vedic Vastu can actually help us a remedy and try to get in more stability within the relationships. So you can go about incorporating this into your space. Apart from that, as per Lal Kitab, silver hathi or a silver elephant with can be placed in this zone as well. To kind of bring in a lot of peace into the space. Like I said, your emotional quotient, your intuition, all of these are based on this. So try to balance out using those. Next comes Leo or Simha Rashi, and when you understand in detail, the planet associated to it is the sun, right? And it is also a fire element. So when you understand this in detail, the sun is first of all very dominant, and it gives more aggression and ambition in terms of because of its fire element association. So here, please make sure you use it with caution, because this is very, very aggressive. Anything too much use here can be a problem. But if you really want to make best use of this space, the zone associated to it is preferably the east, because east is where the sun rises, and this is the best zone that is considered. So here you can try to either directly have a face of the sun or a brass sun, because brass is an element associated to the east zone. You can also try to use colors associated to the sun like orange, red, yellows, or anything that you see. Don't use the colors associated with the setting sun. Try to use majorly with the colors associated with the rising sun. Okay. Apart from that, make sure this particular zone has enough light and ventilation, natural light and ventilation entering your space, and at least have openings, even if not a main door, at least have openings in terms of windows or anything of such sort. Apart from that, one of the best lords to actually worship in this zone is your Surya Dev. So you can keep an idol over here and worship him. Or you can, as per astrology, what I have heard is you offer water to Lord Sun over here in the morning. So this is something that you can do. Apart from that, any heart or respiratory issues can be solved over here. And this zone is also something that will help you achieve a lot of confidence, a lot of zeal, authority, power, enthusiasm. So making this zone positively charged by making sure this is not, too much... aggregated with the colors of the sun, but yes, used moderately but precisely in the space can help you get benefits in for the person staying in the space. So yeah, next you have the Virgo or the Kanya Rashi, and this is basically an earth element, and the planet associated with this, I would say two. One is Mercury and the other one is Rahu. Mercury basically represents the planets that we have in our solar system. Rahu does not actually exist in the solar system, but to be very honest, as per some schools of thought in astrology, Rahu is associated to Uranus and Neptune. Some of them have two approaches to it, so I'm giving you both. But yeah, both Mercury and Rahu. And the best place to go about keeping this is in the west zone. Why I'm saying the west zone or the southwest zone is because Rahu, when you understand, the placement of it is in the southwest zone. So that is why we take it as a southwest. And if you guys do know or follow Vedic Vastu, one of the most things that are actually told is you have nazar dos that happens if you have an entrance from the southwest, or your plot entrance or your main door in the southwest. This is because Rahu sits there and causes that nazar dosh if you have those kind of openings. That is why we always say let southwest be the heaviest and no openings or entrances be given from this particular zone of your space. Okay, so even if you're coming back to the main topic, since this is dealing with the southwest zone of your space and this deals with Rahu majorly, try to use colors associated to the earth element. That is, either you can use your yellows, you can use your soil related elements. All of those can be kept over here. And one more thing you have to know is most of the energy of the house is generally dispersed from here. So make sure that this zone is specifically energized properly and balanced in a proper way, so that even when the energy is dissipated, it goes in a proper positive manner and no negative energies are flowing through because of disbalance or disharmony within the space. Okay. Next comes the Libra or the Tula Rashi, and this is again ruled by planet Venus, and this basically deals with the air element. Now, since this is the air element, I'll be taking this approach predominantly because air element is basically your west side that you have. Okay, so again, if you want to have any works, if you want to build any networks, if you want to have any... See, west basically also not only talks about Lord Shani, but also talks about wish fulfillment zone. So if you want any of your wishes to be fulfilled, or if you want to have gain in your works or any of that sort, try to have a study area or workplace over here, especially if you're from a stock market or, mutual fund, those settings over here. And common, as I said, for west zone, try to avoid any red or your fire element like elements or colors in this particular zone. But you can try to have your blues, greens, whites, all of the other colors in the west zone will definitely work. Avoid black as well as much as possible in this particular state. Again, if you're having any toilets in this zone, especially sitting in the west side, since it's wish fulfillment, it might block the attributes. Either you have to do a remedy with it, either using crystals, or you can go about doing a Vastu remedy using strips or all that, and to, make sure you make most of the things. So yeah. Next, we'll talk about the Scorpio or the Vrishchika Rashi. Now, this is basically a water element, but the ruling planet is Mars. The reason I'm going to tell this again is with a huge point of caution. Even when I told you just a couple of minutes back regarding the attributes associated with the house 8, we talk about death, rebirth, transformation, sudden changes, in-laws and all of those. And why this major friction over here is happening is because Mars is a fiery planet. It's a red planet. But the element sitting over here is water. And by law itself, these are just opposite contradicting energies. So anywhere, just a tweak of it can cause major clashes. Okay. So that is why I'm saying, please make sure your Scorpio or your 8th house or anything related to the 8th, that is even your zone that is associated, is balanced out properly to avoid any negative effects. So as per Vastu, your south zone is associated to this particular Scorpio zodiac sign. And here what I would suggest is, best thing you can do is you can use the colors of the fire itself, but use it with very 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 much moderation. And even if you want to try to use this, try having either in terms of paintings or decorative items and all of that, rather than actually having them fully fledged painted walls and all of those. Try to limit it using these. Apart from that, Hanuman is also a god that governs the south zone, so you can have his idol and ask for protection for the same. Even in terms of crystals, you have red carnelian crystals that can be placed over here. There are different ways of how you can approach this. You can read about it more in detail, and we also have a video linked in the description regarding the entire understanding of crystals and its related to Vastu. You can check that out as well. But yeah, again telling you, please, with a point of caution, the 8th house or the 8th zodiac sign and the attributes associated to it are very 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 very, just a little bit of imbalance can cause huge massive destructions and cause a lot of disharmony within the space. So please play with it very very carefully. Okay, next comes the Sagittarius or the Dhanu Rashi that we have. This is basically your fire element, and the zone that it deals with is the northeast zone. The reason why I say this is because the planet associated to Dhanu Rashi is Jupiter. So Jupiter in general is the planet of knowledge, and knowledge basically deals with the northeastern zone. So that is why I associate both of them here. The only thing that you have to know is northeast again is a very sensitive zone as per Vastu. So try to avoid any anti-colors or fire zones or fire elements in this particular zone. But anything else related to your water, like your fountains, your swimming pools, your underground water tanks, your mirrors, all of these can be placed in your northeastern zone. And one of the best places to keep your puja room here is in the northeast zone, because northeast is education, and northeast also means your your god, your guru, because all of these are also associated to Jupiter. So having a puja room here will give you direct connection with your spirituality, and manifestation of, for you especially, would be easier. So try to have your puja room or your puja mandir specifically in the northeastern zone. Apart from that, do not place a bedroom here, especially for you guys, because bedroom, if you understand in Vedic Vastu, the concept of northeast is to be in Jagrat Avastha, but sleeping basically deals with your Swapna Avastha, that is your sleeping position, which again counteract. To try to avoid having a sleeping bedroom. But if you do have a bedroom and you want to make best use of it and you don't know what to do, try to make it a study area or a work area, so you are always awake and you're doing your work over there. So see how you can play with the activity rather than actually not utilizing the space completely. But yeah, one thing that you also have to note is the northeast completely deals with clarity of mind when you look in terms of Mahavastu. So try to declutter it and try to keep it as organized as possible, especially over here, and keep this place extremely clean. Okay. And in case if you do have issues like having a toilet over here, especially when I talk about toilet, I talk about the wash commode sitting in this zone. It is not at all auspicious in general also as per Vastu, because these can give you very hazardous outputs. But if you do have, in crystal remedy, what you can do is try to keep 3 black tourmaline crystal towers over here. But again, this is only going to help to an extent. Primarily what I would suggest is completely remove the wash commode. But if that is not possible, then this is something that you can try to incorporate. Next comes Capricorn, also known as the Makara Rashi. And when we talk about Makara Rashi, this basically deals with the planet Saturn. And the element associated to it is the Earth. So since first I said Saturn is associated to the west zone of your house, so west. And when I talk about Earth element, you have both southwest to west ranging as a Earth element. So south and west directions predominantly deals with your Capricorn. So logically over here, when you understand this, the most simple thing that I would say is, especially when you have it in your southwest zone, try to avoid red color as much as possible here, because it's going to cause a lot of aggression. And since, even west in that case, if it's going to cause a lot of aggression, your Saturn might get disbalanced mightily, and Saturn is a very karma related deity. And if it's not balanced, then he's going to give you only negative effects. So preferably avoid this as much as possible. Best neutral colors that you can use for both the zones is white color, and west color and southwest color. Avoid red as much as possible, but completely avoid red in your west zone. Even if you want to use red, use it in minimal option in your southwest or south, but apart from that, no. Okay. And the second last one that we have is your Aquarius or your Kumbha Rashi. And now this is basically again dealt with your Saturn planet, and air element is the one this is associated with. So automatically when we talk about it, you have Saturn means west and air element basically is your east. So west and your east zones play a major role over here as per Vastu. Colors associated to both west and east, something that can be used can be your greens, can be your lighter shades of greens, your blues, your whites, all of these can be used in your space. Here, preferably, since Saturn does not like to keep wastage or garmix or disturb things, try to avoid having any damaged goods or damaged electronic items or any of this in these zones. Apart from that, try to keep these open zones open as much as possible, but with a small variation to both of this. If you have balconies in the east, it's extremely good, but balconies in the west is preferably not allowed because it's going to give you direct exposure to the west side. That is again irritating your shani factor over here. So what I would suggest is, if you have a balcony in the west zone, try to keep bamboo plants because this acts as remedies as per Vedic Vastu. So then you can reap the benefits of the same. But apart from that, yeah, this is pretty much most of it. This is pretty much most of it. The last one that we have is your Pisces or your Meena Rashi, and this is basically the 12th zodiac sign sitting in the 12th house on your chart. Now, this is something that has to be taken with a caution because there's only one positive factor when you understand this, like the 12th house in general. That is your understanding whether you will settle abroad. But apart from that, everything else that you have a negative associations linked to the 12th house. So when we talk about Pisces sitting in your 12th house, that is your Meena Rashi, the first thing you have to know is this is a water zone and the ruling planet is Jupiter. Okay, if this is not balanced, firstly, what would happen is all those negative factors would be impacted and you would receive negative results. So make sure firstly that in your northeast zone, because it's ruled by Jupiter and since it's your water element, any part from your any part from your northeast to east is what we deal with. I'm giving you a basic run through because there are different schools of thought where we have 4 zones, 6 zones, 8 zones, 16 zones. So based on that, you can choose which is appropriate for you and apply this. But coming back, since Jupiter's rule with the northeast one, your guru, your knowledge, your all of those ideologies are dealt with this. So best place for you also to keep your puja mandir is in the northeast zone. Apart from that, the colors that you can use here is basically your whites, your blues, your greens, your yellows, all of that. Only color that has to be avoided here is anything related to the fire zone or any opposing zones. And this basically would not only help you balance out your thought process or bring you clarity of mind, but also help you in terms of immune system. So make sure that this is balanced out properly. And this is the reason why I would say this. Now that you've been able to understand the different the 12 zodiac signs and the attributes associated to 12 houses of astrology, just to give you a small relation to this, like I said even during explaining it also, your 8th house is one of the most sensitive houses, okay, be it the zodiac sign or your actual house attributes associated to it. Apart from that, your 6th house and your 12th house are also the same. So if you understand astrology in detail, and this is particularly for those who do to a little extent, your 6th house, your 8th house and your 12th house are something that basically cause a lot of negative effects. So either if you have your Mahadasha, your Antardasha, your Sukshma Dasha, or just your Dasha happening of any of these, okay, and especially of that particular planet sitting in these houses, you will be able to see a lot of negative things happening. Especially also if it is having associations with Sade Sati or, you know, a small Panoti and all of those, then it is even more dangerous. So make sure that when you're, you know, neutralizing your zones as per Vastu, you play exactly according to the astrological constellations for these. Because if you understand in detail, 25% of your entire life is dealt with actual Vastu. So it's very, very important that you balance that out. So please do not make any mistakes, especially as per these zodiac signs or these houses and the planets placed as per your birth charts in these zones. But saying that, I hope I gave you an overview and an understanding of how astrology is related to Vastu and how you can go about approaching this into your spaces as well. So saying that, thank you very much.